If you were interested in stories with happy endings, then you would be better off somewhere else.
Hey girl, it's me. I need to talk to you about your mom. She's in the hospital and not doing too good. And I really don't want to do this by text. Call me.
Hey, come on. You are not a saint.
But you in the audience have no such obligation, and I would advise all our viewers to turn away immediately and watch something more pleasant instead.
No, this isn't about whether I'm a saint or not. You're telling me the woman got cancer now or something and she's in the hospital.
All I'm saying is I just call her and say, you know, I'm sorry that shit's going on with you. I mean, shit, nobody should have to go through the gut prep that you guys go through.
Right, and I had to go through it alone. Oh. Alone. You have no idea what that is like.
Come on, it's just stuff.
It's not about the stuff. It's about the fact that she's never done anything for me. And I'm supposed to give a fuck about this woman dying? My cancer started because of what she fucking let Jack do to me. There's no point in even having civil conversations. Everything that you bring into my life, you try to manipulate me and use me in some kind of fucking way to get whatever it is that you want.
If you can't show compassion to those your own family, even though they fucked up your life, then you're a fucked up person.
No, I'm not. It has to do with coming to a fucking limit of dealing with it. When people are like, oh, that's your mother. That's my what? My mother died. I was raised by my grandmother because my mother brought me off with someone that treated me like shit my entire fucking life and never let me forget that I was never her responsibility and she never wanted me either. But I needed to be grateful because of what grandma did for me.
You helped your grandmother, and your grandma was a bitch.
I'm a die boss, and boy, you better believe that.
In the story, not only is there no happy ending, there is no happy beginning, and very few happy things in the middle.
A large part of the motivation for me to leave Pennsylvania and all the drama behind had to do with a lot of family problems. My grandparents were responsible for raising me most of my childhood. On the exceptions that my mother did take over, it was always a complete shit show, and she's getting busted selling drugs, and then her boyfriends are beating on me. My grandmother was kind of the family matriarch. After my grandmother had died, there was a lot of fighting over the will and the possessions, as happens in like a lot of families. My grandfather and my uncle were pretty much the only ones that were in my corner. I was my grandfather's favorite. He used to take me on these long cross-country trips with him all the time. A lot of the things that were done to me as a child were due to not my mother's direct abuse, but her negligence by leaving me with people that would beat the crap out of me. My mom largely just ignored me and dropped me off on my grandparents and didn't want to deal with me. While my grandmother was primarily responsible for raising me, she was somebody that never let me really forget. She was handling somebody else's responsibility and she already raised her kids and she shouldn't have to be stuck with raising her grandchildren too. Now that I have my own kid, I realize that insisting to a small child what a burden they are on a daily basis is just as bad as smacking them around.
So all of you are wondering when I say don't follow my kid on Instagram, it's off limits, he's off the internet, you're not allowed to DM him, absolutely fucking not. You can talk to him when he's 18.
Every Christmas having to watch all my cousins get the gifts they asked for while I opened up a bathrobe. She gave me Michael Jackson's Thriller album for my kindergarten graduation present. I think that's the only thing I can ever remember her showing up for or doing. The only thing that sticks out.
Hey,
Is who gay?
the girls.
What girls?
The ones you bring here.
Some of them.
There was always that, like, unspoken resentment, I guess. She just completely ignored the fact that she had a child and then eventually got married and had 2 other children, and it was like I just didn't exist. I feel that my life started to improve once I detached from, like, my family drama. I don't know for what reason, but my mother thought it was pertinent to tell me the story about how my grandmother had insisted that I be aborted and the fight that it caused. They shipped her out to Arizona, and my mother was to leave me out there, put me up for adoption, and not come back with me. I don't come from an affectionate family. We're not the kind of people that hug and kiss and console each other. I feel like I owe a lot of my awkwardness when it comes to being touched by people when they try to be affectionate. It's always been problems in my relationships. It's like trying to hug another person and console them, and somebody's crying, and I'm just like, feel better. You know, I don't know how to physically, like, accept. I don't know how to accept, like, physical interaction. You know, it's awkward for me, so I don't like being touched. Like when I date somebody, it takes a little while to get used to being kissed on. It wasn't until we had Lucian that I was able to actually, you know? When I even told my mother that I had cancer, shrugged it off. Didn't come to the hospital. I think my mother came once after I had been put back in the hospital for like the 3rd or the 4th time because I had so many complications. I almost fucking died. My grandmother bitched at her and made her go to the hospital. She came one time. But by then, it was like the damage had been done, and then we're like fighting over my belongings. Like, they stole my fucking bed. My brother stole my fucking clothes. They stole paintings and artwork. I'm supposed to feel bad. Like, everything I have and the few accomplishments that I have made in my life thus far, I owe to myself. I made myself. No one gave me shit. And while my grandmother took care of me, and I appreciate not being placed up for adoption or being stuck in fucking foster care, I watched her spoil the shit out of my cousins and treat me like shit. And I never knew any better. I just assumed that's how everybody was treated. Who helped me? I've spent enough of my existence on this planet having a shitty life. Spend most of my time by myself. It's really hard for me to care about anything else.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
What's that? Oh, I'm chilling. I gotta swap my laundry.
Strange as it may seem, I still hope for the best, even though the best, like an interesting piece of mail, so rarely arrives.
Okay.
Get it out.
So matchup. Young lady downstairs, I think she's on the 2nd floor. I went down to get my laundry.
Come on, man, you gotta get it out. Find the hot girl. Is she hot too? You got the cute girl. Do your own laundry. Did she fold it? Did she press it? Did she spray it with some?
Yeah, dude, like I went down there, holy shit. Yeah, she was super nice. I went down to like swap it and saw her down there. I was like, oh, sorry if I tied up the machine. She goes, no. And she was like, I saw you rushing, so the least I could do is just go ahead and she was like, I kind of folded it half, whatever.
Oh, where someone did my fucking laundry. Getting bitches out of fucking. I'll just do your laundry for you. Just saw you in a rush.
Oh my god.
love your tattoos, by the way. Super cute.
I'm just gonna do all my YouTube videos from now on wearing this shit because it's working.
Right.
I'm getting my fucking laundry done for nothing. Shout out to my new neighbor. Thanks for doing my laundry, honey.
Over here sipping all the tea. Don't make me spit out the tea.
You had some fucking balls. That was fucking dope.